You know that dream? Yeah, the one that just keeps coming back. Maybe it's an exam you're not ready for or a house you just can't seem to find your way out of. Well, today we're going to decode those recurring dreams. And let me tell you, they're not just random noise. They're actually a really clear signal from your mind. Let's figure out what your brain is so desperately trying to tell you.
Man, that feeling is so familiar, isn't it? That sense of being totally stuck in a loop. You try to turn a different corner, but somehow you always end up right back where you started. This isn't just some story. It's the perfect snapshot of the mental machinery we're about to dive into. You can just feel the anxiety in those words, and it's there for a very, very specific reason.
So, yeah, that's the big question, right? Why does our brain, this amazing supercomputer, get stuck on repeat mode? Well, it turns out these dreams aren't a bug, they're actually a feature. They are your brain's stubborn, and yeah, sometimes frustrating, attempt to solve a very particular kind of problem.
To really get a handle on these dream loops, we first have to talk about something I like to call your brain's unsent emails. Trust me, this idea is the key that unlocks the whole mystery, and it all starts with the difference between two kinds of memory that we usually lump together.
Okay, so this slide right here shows us a really critical distinction. You've got short-term memory, which is kind of like a sticky note for a phone number someone just told you. It's passive, it's temporary, but working memory, that's a whole different ballgame. It's a short-term memory that has a job to do, an unresolved purpose. It's information your brain is actively trying to work on. And that phrase at the bottom, unresolved strain, that's everything.
Right, so a working memory isn't just data, it's a state of pressure. Think about it like an email you started writing, but you couldn't send it. Maybe you were missing a key piece of info, or you just couldn't find the right words. So you hit Save to Drafts. Your brain does the exact same thing. It keeps that loop open, constantly poking you, trying to get you to finally resolve it and hit Send.
So why do these loops stay open? Why do these emails just sit in our mental drafts folder? Well, it happens for a few key reasons. Maybe something in the real world is physically stopping you from acting. Or maybe it's something internal, a deep conflict, a fear that's paralyzing you, or even the ghost of a path not taken. These things, these incompletions, they don't just go away. They become the nonstop mental work that fuels our dreams night after night.
Okay, so we've got these unsent emails, these open loops of working memory. So what happens when we finally go to sleep? Well, that's when the dream engine fires up. Let's take a look inside the engine room of the mind.
Now, this part is absolutely critical. Our dreams don't organize memories chronologically, like a timeline. They organize them by emotion. The source material calls this the memory fusion principle. So that recent strain from your working memory, let's say it's anxiety about a big work presentation, it reaches back in time and finds a long-term memory that feels the same, like the panic you felt during your final exams in college. The feeling is the magnet, fusing them together into one, often surreal, story.
And this table illustrates so well how the type of dream you have is all about the energy ratio between that new stress and your old patterns. So if your mind is totally swamped with recent tasks, that's high short-term memory strain, your dreams are probably going to feel fragmented and anxious. But if you're in a more reflective state, where a long-term memory is more dominant, your dreams tend to become more symbolic, maybe even a little nostalgic. It's this really cool dynamic balance.
Every single dream you have is an attempt by your brain to process these working memories. It's like a nightly work session. But, and this is a big but, not all every session is a success. There are basically 3 ways any given dream can end.
So a dream can succeed in one of 2 ways. Either it consolidates the memory into a nice resolved story, or it just dissolves the emotional pressure. But when it fails, that working memory gets sent right back to the top of the to-do list. This right here is the engine of recurring dreams. It's the brain trying and failing over and over again to close that open loop.
You ever wonder why some people seem to get stuck in these loops for way longer? Well, a lot of it comes down to our cognitive style. So-called fast resolvers tend to be more flexible, more accepting of things not being perfect. On the other hand, slow resolvers might get caught up in ruminating or avoiding the issue, which just keeps that mental strain alive. Their brain keeps running the program, hoping for a different result.
Now, this isn't all just fascinating theory. You can actually get in there and participate in this process. So this final section is all about giving you a practical toolkit for working with your mind's dream engine to help it finally resolve those nagging open loops. This is such a simple but really powerful protocol. Before you go to sleep, you consciously load that problem into your brain's queue. First thing when you wake up, you read the report from the night shift. And if the job's not done, you actively rewrite the story. You're basically giving your brain a new script to work from. You're training it.
Dream, recall, rewrite, and then redream.
By just paying a little attention, you can become a detective of your own mind. Your reoccurring dream themes are basically a map to your mind's attractor fields. These are the gravitational centers where all that unresolved mental energy gathers. An exam dream isn't just about school. It's about being evaluated. A dream about renovating a house is about your own identity. Seeing these patterns is the very first step to resolving them.
So if there's just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. Stop thinking of your dreams as these bizarre, random movies that your brain plays for itself. Start seeing them for what they really are, a sophisticated, purposeful, nightly work report on how you're doing with all your unfinished business.
Which of course brings us to the final question. And it's one I want you to take with you into your own sleep. When you look at the open loops and the unresolved strains of your day, what kind of work report do you think your mind is going to file? What is it trying to resolve tonight?